Friday, November 6th, 2015. I almost forgot what day it is. Anyway, this is Radio Tokyo. I'm Jonathan. With me, of course, is Nick, and there is not a damn thing going on today. This is the most boring show we're about to have ever, I think, possibly. Don't you think so, Nick?
I mean, it's pretty quiet, except for motherfucking Blizzcon. Sorry, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah. I actually forgot about BlizzCon for a second for some reason. I don't. But I watched the opening ceremony, and all it was like a puppet show. I mean, like people walked out and did little hand puppets, and I was like, "What? Blizzard's trolling us again?"
There was clearly nothing going on. I'm gonna be angry and throw money at them and see if that fixes the problem.
Yeah, like that seems to be what everyone does now, is just gets angry and like, "Here, take my money." But yeah, I don't know. But actually, seriously, those of you who follow us on Facebook, I posted earlier, we are not doing a lot of BlizzCon coverage this show. We're going to do that next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're going to divide everything up because there is a lot of stuff to go over, and it would be impossible to get everything into today's show and then it be, available for everyone who's not watching us live, which I don't know why the fuck you're not watching us live. You should. We're live right now, But anyway, yeah, we're going to have...
It's more fun.
Do what?
It's more fun.
It is. It's more fun. It's more fun. But but if you're gonna watch it later, that's fine. Whatever. Anyway, so for those of you who are actually watching this later and don't follow us on Facebook, we're gonna do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday about the results of BlizzCon, because there literally is so much. I mean, I am full on white girling here. I can't even. I just can't even begin to get into what has happened today. I mean, the opening ceremony was like an hour and 20 minutes or so, and it was for free. If you got to watch it for free, it was amazing. If you didn't, you're screwed. But holy shit, Blizzard released the Warcraft movie cinematic. No, I'm sorry, not cinematic. The trailer, the full trailer, which is on our Facebook page. They just got done showing the Legion, the World of Warcraft Legion launch trailer. Again, Facebook page, go check it out. The final expansion, I believe, final expansion for StarCraft is coming out. New stuff for Hearthstone. It's Overwatch insanity. It's crazy. There is a lot of stuff going on at BlizzCon, and I'm excited, and I think Nick is. I don't know. Nick, are you excited about it?
I need that golden monkey. So
don't give away what the golden monkey just did. Like
it's
that's a secret.
It's just it's golden monkey. It's a golden monkey, and I want it, and I need it, and yeah, and the movie, and they put on a good show. They put on a really good show this year.
They really did, and I wish I had gotten the DirecTV package so I could watch it at home, because I really want to watch the lore panel. I was actually talking about this with someone in WoW the other day about the lore panels they have, and how Chris Mettons always comes up there, and they have, other people up there. And for like the past 5 years, I cannot remember your real name, I'm sorry, but Red Shirt Guy has shown up. And just in case you're wondering how badly Blizzard has ever screwed up on their lore, last year at 2014's BlizzCon, Red Shirt Guy shows up, and it wasn't Mike Morhaime, it was Chris Metzen. He sees him and he goes, "Oh shit."
That's the best reaction ever.
It is.
Also,
it is.
Yes. To our supporters, if you want to give us the money so we can watch the DirecTV thing, that would be nice. I'm just saying. I think we'd be open to that.
Expensive. But luckily, all the panels wind up being shown on YouTube specifically. But a lot of things get covered. So we can always
We can wait a little.
yeah, we can. Like I said, we're gonna do all next week about what's going on today and tomorrow. And by the way, my friend too. Actually, Nick and I have a mutual friend. His name is Scott. Scott is at BlizzCon. Scott, fuck you for being at BlizzCon and not taking us. We're actually really incredibly jealous of you for being there right now. He got to hold the Ashbringer yesterday and run around with it. By the way.
We hate you, and we wish we were there with you, and yeah.
But you know what? Speaking of undying hatred, I want to talk about the dark side of the Force because okay, if you missed the big story this week, I I don't know how you didn't know about this if you didn't, but I discussed it a while. I think Monday or Wednesday, I think. Anyway, Daniel Fleet, is 32 years old, and he's from Texas. He's from here in Texas, and he's a huge Star Wars fan. And Daniel has essentially an incurable cancer. It's I believe 90% of his lungs are nothing but tumors, and of course he was given 2 months to live. And Tuesday he actually reached 2 months in one day. There was a campaign,
Congrats.
What's that?
I was saying congrats to him.
Yeah, like it's amazing he was able to live, considering the fact that he has to stop about every 3 words and take a breath. He can't walk around. I mean, he's in good shape, for being someone who has very very limited amount of time. But Daniel was, like I said, given 2 months to live, and Tuesday he was 2 months in one day. Well, his bucket list has had everything scratched off of it except for one thing, and that one thing was to get to see Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So his wife took the internet, and the internet backed this kid up here, by the way, backed him up on this, and they started the Force for Daniel campaign. And yesterday morning, actually Wednesday, Daniel got a call from J.J. Abrams himself, and J.J. Abrams came to Daniel's house yesterday down around Houston, and Daniel and his wife and I forget who else, like father and brother, I think, actually got to watch an unedited version of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And by unedited, I mean it's not the finalized one, like what you've seen in the trailers and everything. By the way, there's some new footage that came out. If you haven't seen the Japanese trailer, look that shit up. Holy wow, it's amazing. But he got to watch an unedited version of it, so he gets to see the movie for everyone else because he's not going to be here much longer, and he thinks that he's not going to be here in December. So, congratulations, Daniel, on getting to watch Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
It's just a really great thing for them to do, and the right thing for them to do. I mean, these movies mean a lot to us, just beyond what the story and everything, just the communities, the fans, the shared experiences. It means a lot to us. So I'm really happy that he got that and that happened.
Yeah, they are pretty meaningful. I mean, it's like what was touched on at the opening ceremonies of BlizzCon today. A lot of people who play Blizzard games have met some of their best friends. They've met, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. They've met husbands, wives. They've made lasting friendships with Blizzard games, and that tends to happen.
Like us.
Yeah. That tends to that's actually, for those of you who don't know, that's how Nick and I met. But it's a really positive thing that comes out of communities that come up around these popular things like Star Wars or World of Warcraft or Star Trek, or sometimes even politics, because some people band together over things in politics and you become friends.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad, actually.
I think it's good. I think it's good. And since I've already kind of opened the floodgate here for politics, there's some bullshit happening this week in politics. By the way, those of you who are interested, the next Republican debate, the next one, already. We just had one, but a couple days before Halloween. Now we're gonna have another one in here, like 4 days, I think, 3 or 4 days, something like that. So another Republican debate because we get to hear what these people say for reasons I don't know. I don't know anymore. I really don't. Uh, but of course, Ben Carson has been in the news. Now, if you're not following the news, that's fine for you to have missed it. But Mr. Carson has been in the news because he has said some more spectacularly stupid shit. So, Nick, do you actually? You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna copy the new uh, iPhone commercial, the iPhone 6 commercial, and I'm gonna have Siri flip a coin. So heads, we'll talk about Ben Carson and the pyramids, and tails, we'll talk about Ben Carson and West Point. How's that sound to you?
I really the West Point thing really just yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We'll do both. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Sure.
Siri, flip a coin. Damn it, she didn't do it.
Also, I'm sad that we have to use a phone to flip a coin now.
Well, it's cool.
I can't answer that.
Shut up, bitch. Okay. Okay, hang on.
This is why I use an Android phone. This is why.
No. She picked up flipping a coin, and it came up. How do you answer that? So, okay, hang on 1 second. Here we go. Siri, flip a coin.
It's heads.
All right, we are leading off with Ben Carson and the pyramids.
Yep, which were apparently used to store wheat.
Grain. You have to be specific.
Grain?
Used to store grain. Now, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, here's the thing. I actually have to defend Dr. Carson here. Oh my god. I can't believe I'm doing it, but I have to defend him. It is not his theory. Ben Carson did not come up with the idea that the pyramids were used to store grain.
I would hope not.
Although, like 19, 20 years ago, whenever he made the speech about it, keep in mind he was speaking to a school that is run by Seventh-day Adventists, and of course, he's Seventh-day Adventist himself. Every Seventh-day Adventist I've ever met has been reasonably educated individuals. They're actually quite smart. They may have some dumb ideas, which everyone has dumb ideas, but you can't really fault them all for all their dumb ideas. But
except for me, I've never had a dumb idea ever.
You probably had some. I don't know, but anyway, Dr. Carson was giving a speech, and he was talking about thinking big. The idea of not looking at everything as being black, white, whatever, however way you want to describe it. Say that everything has got this going on or that going on. Just have bigger ideas. Open your mind to new possibilities and whatnot. And he launches into an explanation of how he personally believes that the pyramids, as in the pyramids that are Egypt, were built by Joseph, and we're talking, Genesis 41 Joseph here, around those set of verses, because he was I think a vizier, and he wanted to collect all the grain in Egypt so that the people could eat, for a year, and not have to worry about it, not have to worry about ever farming ever again. So the idea is that the pyramids are actually hermetically sealed, and all the chambers in them are enough to hold grain. Now, this is where Dr. Carson differs from the original people who thought this idea up. Because I'll be honest, it actually does make sense when you think about it. The idea that they could be used for grain storage makes kind of sense. Like you can just take the top off of them and pour the grain in, which was the original thought. The problem being that one, you can't do that to the pyramids, and two, we know what's inside of them, and there are dead bodies in there, and we know that they're tombs. Like it's long since been established for about 100 years now that they're tombs. They've kind of always been tombs. Yeah, it's a little strange. I mean, it's a nice idea, and it does definitely, allow people to broaden their minds. Uh, but he followed. But okay. That's as far as my defense of Dr. Carson on this goes. I'm not going to say, he's definitely wrong for having a dumb idea. He is wrong. Don't get me wrong, he is wrong, and it is a dumb idea. But this was 19 years ago. Perceptions change, thoughts change, whatever. I don't know. Like I said, he stole an idea from somebody else, and it's not like it's the first time Dr. Carson has ever done anything that was essentially someone else's work. Like, I don't know, fetal tissue sampling. He kind of did do that. Of course, now he's anti-abortion. And then, okay, just because I just happened to think about this, and I realize this is not the West Point thing, uh, but he's been attacking CNN lately because CNN posted a story about how Carson is evidently lying and making shit up about his childhood. He said that he had a rough childhood. He was always an angry person. He got into a lot of fights. He threw a lot of rocks and stuff at people and everything. Well, a friend of mine that I went to high school with has actually read Dr. Carson's book where he discusses his childhood. And Dr. Carson was this particular friend's idol growing up. He said when he first read the book, he wanted to become a neurosurgeon because Dr. Carson inspired him that much. Not one damn time in the book does Ben Carson mention being angry. Not one damn time does he mention throwing a rock, getting into a fist fight. No one who knew him as a child that's been asked about it remembers that Ben Carson. He has made shit up. And I genuinely think what it is that Dr. Carson is trying to appeal to the crazy white people in the Republican Party, and there's a lot of them. I live in Texas. I know this firsthand. He's trying to appeal to them by saying, "Oh, look, I was a savage youth, and now I'm a distinguished, educated man. Look what happens when I became part of the system." I think that's what he's doing.
It's just really. I I don't even know where to start.
You start at the beginning, and when you come to the end, you stop.
But where do I begin here? Why would you? Why would he lie? Why would he need to lie? People people want to say, "Oh, President Obama lies about everything," and then Ben Carson is literally caught lying, and then it's just like, what? Why? How?
See, here's the thing.
And
He's
and
actively caught making shit up, and then people are like, "Well, no, you're just taking it out of context." I don't recall anyone saying that about Obama. I don't recall any Democrat saying that about Obama when he was accused of being a liar. All I remember is Obama's a fucking Muslim. He's gonna destroy America, and it was like, look, here's proof. Accept it. And 8 years later, a small handful of people still think that stupid bullshit is real, like my dad. No offense, Dad. um, yeah, it's strange to see people trying to defend Ben Carson when they know he's told a lie. It's really strange, and I don't understand how that's a thing. I don't get how you can know, that someone is actually lying, and then it be weird.
and okay, but I mean, I can maybe. I mean, whatever about the pyramid thing. Whatever. I mean, perhaps they might have used parts of it to store grain. Maybe, I don't know. It certainly wasn't Joseph that did that, but anyways. And the thing about getting into fights and it's awkward, but whatever. But no, what pisses me off is the West Point thing. That pisses me off because I got a letter from West Point. I wanted to go to West Point. Now, I couldn't go to West Point because of my disability, but if it wasn't for that, West Point probably would have been my first choice for college education. And to have someone claim that they repeatedly turned down a full scholarship from West Point, just I'm legitimately angry at that.
Well, see, here's the funny thing. I also got a letter from West Point. I really did. I had an English teacher. Of course, gave us, the typical assignment. Here, write to whatever college you want to go to. Blah blah blah. It was that stupid assignment, and I wanted to go to West Point, so I wrote to West Point. I told them, I had all these aspirations. I told them about all the military service in my family. I told them about all my interests and everything, and then I told the teacher, what I sent her. I sent essays and shit I had written about Patton and Stonewall Jackson and stuff like. Just pages upon pages and pages of shit. And the teacher said, "You realize that you're never going to get a response, right?" And I said, "Yes, I will." I said, "Yes, I will get a response." I sent, in addition to everything I mentioned, I sent my ASVAB scores. Like, I was really high. I was one of the highest in this district on that test, and I just sent everything, just because, I wanted to get a response. And I told her I was gonna get. I knew I would get something back. And when it came time, to get the assignments back, I hadn't gotten my letter. And so she said, write to another school. I'll give you like 2 or 3 days, whatever. And so I wrote another letter, and within a week, I had gotten a response back from the next school. The next day following it. So we're looking at about 2 weeks now, out from when I was supposed to get the assignment. I got a packet from West Point. The next day, I got one from Virginia Military Institute. The day following that, I started getting phone calls from every recruiter within about 50 or 60 miles around here. And I, couldn't go because of health reasons. I had a lot of problems I was dealing with at that point in time. But I got a response from West Point. It's not like I was offered, I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm just going to turn it down because I had this reason. It's like, no, I wanted to go, and then I wound up not being able to go. But I got a response.
Yeah, and for me, it was after I took the SATs. I scored pretty highly on them. I got packets from Princeton and Harvard, Penn State, I think Notre Dame. It was a lot of schools, except for Yale, because Yale apparently doesn't like me. Maybe, I don't know. But the two that I was most proud of was probably my ideal school to go to, and then the surprising one that I really never expected to get was West Point. And a lot of my family has military background, and to me, that was the most special letter that I got. That was the coolest surprise that I could have gotten. A letter from West Point meant so much to me. Just that they were interested, not that they offered me a scholarship or anything. I also got calls from the Air Force Academy, the Navy. There's a really funny story of a Navy recruiter trying to recruit me for like 30 minutes, and the entire time I'm just trying to tell him that I'm disabled, so I probably can't do it. But he just kept talking and talking and talking. I felt really bad for him afterwards, but it's just it angers me so much to even claim that West Point would honor you with a full scholarship, that you would turn it down, and that's a blatant lie. It really, I'm enraged. I am so enraged that I would never consider voting for Ben Carson now. That's how pissed off I am.
See, I've got a couple friends who are Carson supporters, and honestly, I think among the Republicans, and by this I mean the ones who are likely to actually get, elected. I think that if I were to vote for one, I would most likely vote for him because he seems to be one of the most reasonable candidates as there are. And I've said it before,
I
he's a highly intelligent man, even though he says some stupid shit. And he has said some incredibly stupid shit lately.
see, before all this stupid shit, I would have agreed with you. I would have been if I were to vote Republican, he probably would have been the one that I voted for. But now, yeah, no, no, no. I, there's no way in hell I'm going to vote for it. It's, yeah,
So instead, you're going to vote for Trump, right?
no, no. Then that's my only response to that. Yeah,
Are you sure you don't vote
I'm
for Trump?
not. Yeah, I'm very sure.
So surely you want to vote for Obama again, right?
Um, the Constitution doesn't allow that, so that's not an option either.
So you're saying that if presidents, could legally serve more than one term, you would vote for him again?
No, I mean, depending on who is available to or running against him, I suppose if I had to choose between Barack Obama and any of the current Republican candidates, I'd probably go with Obama again.
It's actually kind of sad. Now, I didn't vote for Obama either time. I really didn't. But
I voted for him the second time. The second time I did vote for him.
let's see. Okay, here's my thing. Obama is establishment. He's an establishment politician. Like there's no way around it. And it's not like he lied. And yes, he did lie to the American people. He said, I don't want to go against the establishment. No, you didn't go against the establishment. You became part of it. And that's
He's
part of the reason
been
why
one of the most pro Wall Street, pro politics presidents that we've had in a long time.
he is. And do you know what's going to happen if Hillary gets the nomination and wins? And it's likely that she's going to do both.
She'll be another establishment president, probably, or almost guaranteed.
Oh, there is no question about it. She is establishment from the ground up. Now, I'm not, trying to insult Hillary or her voters, but 15 of her top 20 donors have been banks or insurance companies. Uh, Her husband overturned Glass-Steagall. Now, if you don't know what that is, I'll very simply put it this way. Glass-Steagall regulated the banks from 1933 until 1999 when it was overturned. And then 9 years later, in 2008, we had to bail out the banks and everything because the idea of, well, they're too big to fail that came about. Yeah, that was her husband's doing. That was her husband's fuck up. Okay? The economy has been shit since then because we had a 14-year-long war by a Republican to go into Iraq and get some oil. So what? Oh, wait. Actually, you know what? This gives me the perfect segue for something that happened today. President Obama has vetoed the Keystone Pipeline. He vetoed the ever-loving shit out of it, and Republicans are going insane. They are going out of their damn minds. How could he turn against America? He's costing us all of these jobs. He's giving in to all these liberal, eco-terrorist motherfuckers.
It's I when I look at the Keystone Pipeline, it seems like an okay idea, but there's not a lot of jobs that it makes. Honestly, there really isn't.
Well, see. Here's the amazing thing. There is a set number of jobs that Keystone will create. Everyone knows this. It's 5,000 jobs. 5,000 jobs. Those will not be jobs for Americans. This is jobs for Keystone itself, which those of you who don't know, the pipeline is controlled by a company from Canada. They will be creating jobs for 5,000 Canadians. Okay? Don't let, the Republican establishment confuse you here. These jobs will be for Canadians by Canadians. It is
And then
overwhelmingly disliked by the people whose homes will have to move to build the pipeline. And we're talking something that's going to stretch from Canada down to the Gulf of Mexico here. Okay, this is not some little bitty tiny pipeline. This is going to displace a lot of people. It will cut through national parks. It will cut through monuments. It will fuck up the country, and all to create 5,000 jobs in Canada.
it would
No.
also be really difficult to maintain, and I the amount of maintenance that it would honestly require in order to be safe and viable, and it, it's just a recipe for disaster if all they're doing is 5,000 jobs in Canada. It really is. It is not something I would approve of with the current plan at all.
Now, see, okay, the president's been picking up heat today because of something else he said along with this. Of course, this is preceding climate talks in Paris, and one of the conservative ideas is that global warming is not real, because oh, look at that, there's Arctic ice showing back up. Well, the problem is, global warming is real. It is a symptom of
And
climate
that's
change.
surface ice.
Yeah, it's surface ice. It's not long-lasting ice. In fact, I believe it was NASA that pointed out that this ice won't be there for very long. Like after this year, it's likely to melt. So I want to um, look and see what the weather is today. It is 63 degrees. It is November 6th. Typically cold weather, even here in East Texas, and it is 63 degrees outside. I'm wearing shorts right now. I can walk around in shorts. It's not cold. Last year, it was cold. If you don't believe it's real, look at Michigan last year. Last year, Michigan had several feet of snow at this time. It was down near freezing. This time, it's
No.
mid-50s.
Wait, it's 77 degrees right now in near Washington, D.C.
In
In
November.
November, we should be looking around, I don't know, the 50s, the high 40s. It's really, really warm. It's oddly, freakishly warm.
It is.
It
The 15 warmest years on record have all been since the year 2000. And yes, people do keep track of the temperatures. They keep track of it. It's a known fact. 97% of the scientific community says it's real, and I'm talking all scientists. I'm talking engineers, geologists, biologists, astronauts, physicists. Everyone agrees there is too much evidence here that says it's real.
Republicans are starting to acknowledge it's real. It's just that now it's China's problem. It's not our problem. It's China that's the problem.
Oh yes, see, that's the thing. It's always someone else's fault, and the reason the someone else's idea is very important is because this is not something new in the United States. Okay, I never really talked about it on the show, but Nick knows this. I like Civil War history. Okay, I was a reenactor for a number of years. I had actually had family who fought in the war. Uh, Coming up here in actually 4 days will be the 150th anniversary of the execution of Captain Henry Vers. Henry Vers was the commandant of Andersonville Prison. Andersonville, for those of you who don't know, was essentially a concentration camp for Union prisoners in Andersonville, Georgia. It was officially known as Fort Sumter. Uh, Captain Vers himself executed 13 prisoners by himself. Okay, we're talking about a prison camp where every day 100 prisoners died every day. It was a 26-acre pen that had a stream running through it, and 100 people died a day. It was that bad. People that came out of there looked like they had been in Auschwitz, okay? It was that bad. Henry Vers was one of two people. Actually, he was the first person executed for not only war crimes, but crimes against humanity in the United States. The other person was rode with Jesse Crontrell, I think. I don't remember offhand. But it's important that I'm mentioning this because Captain Vers's expense was, defense, I'm sorry, not expense. His defense was that it was actually General Richard Winder's fault. And Winder was in charge of all Confederate prisons. And he had repeatedly asked for a promotion to major. That way he would have more soldiers, and that way he could, ensure that the stockade would be better, that he could have, more supplies and everything. And Winder could not give him the supplies. Okay? Vers, like I said, personally was responsible for 13 soldiers dying. 13 people, prisoners of war dying. Okay? He starved them, he beat them, he hung them, he put them in stocks, he shot people. 100 people died a day from the conditions in Andersonville. And Vers's response was, it was somebody else's fault. Somebody else is responsible for this. That no, we've had at least 150 years of people blaming horrific shit on other people, and it's time to start taking some goddamn responsibility for it and saying, this was actually our fault. We fucked this up.
And I I can understand the perspective of, okay, I didn't get the supplies I need, or someone else is messing this up, or, but that doesn't mean that you're helpless. That doesn't mean that you can't do things on your own. Even if China is doing not great things that are making it difficult for us, that doesn't mean that we can't do our part and do what we can to, help fix the problem.
You want to know what makes all of Henry Vers worse for me?
Sure.
He was a doctor. He was an educated doctor from Europe. He was a very intelligent man. And he came over here.
So he was Ben Carson.
Yeah. He was a doctor with some stupid ideas. He looked at prisoners who were starving and said, no, it's fine. It's fine. You just need to eat your rations. Again, they couldn't eat their rations because they were stolen from them most of the time. Prisoners had to trade with the guards. It cost them $2 to mail a letter. $2 to mail a letter. And we're talking about people who don't have any fucking money, but they have to scrounge up $2 to mail a letter home, and the letters oftentimes were not sent. It was insane. It was fucking insanity. And Vers, given his limited resources, could have actually done more, but he didn't. He paroled the younger prisoners, the ones who were less than or 15, 16 years old, paroled them to work outside. He didn't have a hospital to treat patients. It was insane. It was insanity. And he was repeatedly admonished by the Confederate government for not doing anything. And he's like, well, I don't have the supplies. Well, there's no supplies to give you. You need to make do with what you have. Everyone else can do that. Why can't you? Instead, he let 100 people die a day and then blamed everybody else. And that shit's crazy.
And just it's sad. It's just sad.
It is. It's genuinely sad. And that's how politicians have become now. It's like, no, I'm in my corner of the sandbox. These are my toys. You go play over there. And someone else grabs their toys. Well, it was that asshole over there that's not even in our sandbox. That's what's going on. And it's insane. So shameless plug here, wolf-pack.com. Go.
Yeah, please go. Go ahead. Just go.
Get these people out of politics. They're bad for us. It's just as George Carlin said, it's all bullshit for you, and it's bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Enough of the enraging, sad part.
Yeah, enough.
Like,
So,
well,
okay. Tell you what. How about for the last few minutes of the show, we talk about I don't know BlizzCon.
Yes, please. I don't want to get upset about stupid politicians or trying to destroy the world. Or let's talk about something fun.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about BlizzCon a bit. Now, keep in mind, like I said, at the start of the show, next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're going to talk all about BlizzCon and the stuff that has come out of this weekend and has been announced this week. Like, for example, what's thought to be an inadvertent post that was on cannot remember MMO Champion. That's it, MMO Champion. Apparently, the Legion website has been updated. Now, I haven't seen this personally, so I don't know. But apparently, it was updated, and what it seems like is going on is if you pre-purchase Legion, you will get which by the way you can purchase right now. You can pre-purchase it right now. You will get your free level 100 character boost instantaneously. Plus, you get all the other cool shit. You get the mount, you get the pet, and everything else. The digital edition is $50. Standard edition is $50. The deluxe edition, which is one that gives you the mount and everything else, is $70. Okay, that's all typical stuff. Everyone expected this. We knew we were going to get things like that. What's going to happen, and they discussed this at BlizzCon today, is if you pre-purchase this, as soon as Demon Hunter becomes available, that does not mean, when Legion is actually out, because it will be available before then. Hint, hint. That and we're looking at possibly the launch event for Legion. If you have pre-purchased it, you will get access to it at least a week before everybody else. At least a week. So you have the price for it, and then you have the boost and everything, and then you have access to Demon Hunter. Now, it's been announced that for Demon Hunter you have to have at least a level 70 because their hero class. Death Knight, you had to have a 55. So this you have to have a 70 because you're going to start at 70, from what I understand. I might be wrong, but you're only going to be able to have one Demon Hunter per realm. If you're on a server like Nick and I are, there's merged realms. So theoretically, you get to have two. I don't know. But the biggie here is that Legion is expected to release on or before September 21st of next year. Now, this is not the release date. It's expected to release on or before then. They've been doing this with all their games. Did it with Overwatch, the new stuff for Diablo, the new stuff for Hearthstone, everything else they discussed today, and that they're going to discuss, today and tomorrow for the rest of BlizzCon. They've given, insert date here on or before. Now, I would expect Legion to be out sooner than that because the Warcraft movie is coming out next year, and a lot of stuff is coming around early in the year. So why would Blizzard make everyone wait until September? That would defeat the purpose of what they've been aiming for. Okay, so
it's way too long. There's no way that it's September 26th. It just doesn't make sense.
let's see, I would be okay with that if they were
I,
doing
I, yeah, if there was a third raid tier for Draenor,
yes.
then
If
sure.
if there was going to be more added in, I'd say okay. But otherwise, it comes off a lot like Mr. Pandaria did, where you waited and waited and waited, and for 14 months you had nothing but Siege of Orgrimmar, and I
And
kind
that
of think
doesn't
that's
make
what's going to happen.
any it doesn't make any sense because the whole purpose of not having the third tier was to so that we would get the games faster.
Yes, so you get a lot faster. But I'm still sticking to the prediction I came up with a while back. I'm gonna say probably around June. Nearly everything else that they've discussed, Overwatch, uh, Legacy of the Void, and everything else, they've said that it will be on or around the end of June. So I'm sticking with Legion coming out around then.
I was hoping for maybe March or April, maybe even May. I still think June's a really long time away. Remember, I haven't played in a very long time, yet I could honestly, with the current release dates that they're saying, I could basically, just wait for a long time and still be able to complete all of the things
Yeah,
with
yeah.
almost no trouble. It, it, it's kind of ridiculous.
But see, okay. Here's my thing. I'm thinking it's going to be June, somewhere around there, because if Blizzard sticks to the typical schedule they have, and thus far I have seen no evidence that they are going to switch from this, you're going to have a month or two after BlizzCon, they'll announce open beta. So it means it's likely to be entering closed beta by the end of this month. They're not going to mention this, of course. It may even be in alpha testing right now, and they may hold off on closed beta for a little while, but it will come out in beta. Uh, the beta servers have already been being brought up online several months ago, like back in August. So we know, from past examples, that they might actually be doing alpha testing. They might have been alpha testing since August, which means beta will be coming up probably by December, end of this month, or somewhere around December. And then you're going to have 2 or 3 months of that. So you're looking around March, whatever, for beta to end, and then a month or two after that is typically when they release their games. And you can go back and you can look at every expansion they've done for World of Warcraft, and it has that same pattern. And that's why I'm thinking probably June, somewhere around there, not as late as September.
Yeah.
But moving on from that just a little bit, I want to talk about the World of Warcraft subscriptions. Now, Nick, I don't think you're familiar with the leaked subscription numbers, are you?
I think you said they're 5.5.
Yeah. They're currently at 5.5 million people worldwide, and this subscription number is going to be the last ones that Blizzard ever releases. They're going to switch to game metrics from now on. And as I mentioned the show the other day, game metrics tend to go along with free-to-play games. So it's possible, maybe, WoW might be free-to-play at some point in time. I don't know. Uh, and I'm not really comfortable, putting my seal of approval on that idea because I don't think they're going to do that. But I do think, in a lot of ways, twisting from subscriber numbers to metrics makes a lot of more damn sense because we're going to deal with a game that's going to have a lot more content a lot more quickly. And if we're looking at something every year, something major every year for to at least 2020, so for 5 more years, because they've said they have enough stuff they can extend it. So then that makes sense. So possibly 5 more expansions. So why worry about the subscription numbers? Because they're going to go up, they're going to go down. They're not going to have stagnated content anymore. You may have a year and a half, whatever, of content, but you're not going to be waiting for 14 months just on one raid tier. You're not going to be doing that. It's going to be faster, and it makes sense to stop worrying about the number of actual subscribers because they can just say, "Hey, look, we have this many people playing here, this many people playing here, or whatever," and just go with that.
Yeah.
But then again, it kind of seems like the
well,
it's
I
going to be in a
mean,
free fall.
5.5 million, considering Warcraft's age, considering that's not had the best reviews for its past expansions, it's not an unreasonable number, honestly. It's around kind of. I would even say the subscription total, if we were to keep measuring, would settle around 4 to 5 million. Honestly, in my opinion, about where it should be, which is still the best of the MMORPGs by far. I think the only one that comes close to it is Final Fantasy 14. It's still a really solid number. It's still a good base. It's still they might need to reorganize the servers probably, but it's
And okay, here's
not.
the here's the beautiful thing. After all the announcements over at BlizzCon, this is predictable. We're going to see people come back. Okay,
Yeah.
I've already spoken to a few people who said, "Well, I'm not excited by Legion. I really didn't like Warlords of Draenor. I'm not looking for anything else. I'm gonna quit playing." That's fine. People who have made up their mind that way, you know, that's understandable. They don't want to keep playing. They don't want to keep spending money on the game, and they're not worried about it. There's other things they can play. That's fine. That's to be expected. Like I said, what you're likely to see is people who have not played in a long time that will come back because we're talking about a genuine world-changing event. Look at Cataclysm. Cataclysm had a lot of support. Subscriber numbers actually went up a couple million from around 10 million or so at the end of Wrath to upwards of 12.5 million. Like that was the peak. I mean, we got that high for that. So what we're looking at here is a possible resurgence. Now it may go back up to around 10 million like it did with Warlords. It may go higher. It may not even go up at all. But the fact remains that there will be people coming back. So while it's not going anywhere, don't worry. We're all good. And the reason we mentioned the Warcraft movie is because that's been announced. That's exciting as shit. The trailer was out. The full trailer was released today for the first time, like ever. So, we're going to get some exciting stuff for that. And of course, also like we mentioned that BlizzCon was the trailer for Legion. And I just want to take a moment and talk about this one particular scene that those of you who are actually watching this, not listening, are getting to see. Yes, you're looking over Varian Wren's shoulder. Yes, you're seeing Sylvanas on a Horde gunship. This is all I'm going to show you. Like I said, the trailer is on our Facebook page. It's on YouTube. You can go watch it. And this next week, we're going to have full coverage of it. So we'll be going through it scene by scene.
And I think some people are wondering why it wasn't Vol'jin on the ship and Sylvanas. Or just to clarify a little bit, it makes more sense for Sylvanas to be there because she is the one that supplies the Horde fleets. For the most part, the goblins help now a little bit, but it's more or less her job, her role in the Horde. So, if anyone's kind of annoyed or upset that they didn't get to see Vol'jin, this actually does make sense thematically.
It does. Hi again, everybody. It is Jonathan from Radio Tokyo, and there actually was a little more to the discussion on today's episode. We had a few things that we brought up, and then we kind of closed the episode out. But during the editing process, which is why this is being added in, by the way, Nick and I were discussing whether we know where to actually end the episode, whether we wanted to leave, our normal ending there or add something in. So we chose to add something in because the coverage that we're talking about, for BlizzCon, we're going to extend that, to all 3 episodes next week. So this is just a reminder from me to all of you. Fuck it, stopping again. Hi, everybody. This is Jonathan from Radio Tokyo. Nick's not here right now. This is actually being added in a little later. But Nick and I were discussing after we finished our episode today, whether we should just leave our normal ending on there, where we say goodbye and everything. So we're actually not going to do that for this one episode. What we're going to do is where we left off today. We're actually going to start back into that next week. Okay? So since, all 3 episodes next week will deal with BlizzCon coverage, we're going to get into talking about the Warcraft movie. We're going to talk about Overwatch. We're going to talk about Hearthstone. We're going to talk about Diablo, Heroes of the Storm, and World of Warcraft. We're going to get into, and StarCraft 2. We're going to get into all those fun games. So, sorry, if the conversation seemed like it just randomly ended. That was actually a decision between Nick and myself. But we will talk to all of you on Monday. Please remember to like this video, comment on it, share it on all your social media platforms, like us on Facebook, and come back Monday and we'll talk more about BlizzCon. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.